This is Rockin' Rage, a video game about a rock band called... well, I don't know. All I know are 3 of the band members' names. John, Rick, and Sheena. Unless the band is actually called Rockin' Rage, which admittedly is a pretty slick name for a band. Hey, you know what else is a cool name for a band? Thundercrap. Anyway, because this is a rock game, I thought I could use some real rock band perspective. I'm here with Mark Damon, bass player for The Pretty Reckless. Okay, so my question to you is, if you were playing a show and right in the middle of one of your songs, an interdimensional portal opened up on stage, and a giant monster hand grabbed your lead singer Taylor and yanked her through, would you immediately jump in after her?
Absolutely.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
That's totally what happens in the game. Except, instead of the girl from the Grinch, the lead singer is, this. John and Rick follow their bandmate Sheena into this portal and arrive in ancient Egypt, and armed only with their respective instruments, a guitar and a mic stand, No, I'm sorry. Hitting stuff with your guitar is good for 2 things. Looking like a boss, and breaking your guitar. You're not gonna kill anything larger than an earwig with a guitar. Unless you're Jack Black. Ancient Egypt is a lot like you might expect it to be. If your brain was recently swapped with gummy bears and lies, the place is rife with mummies. Which kind of makes sense and kind of doesn't. Stay with me here. Mummies are what they are because they're preserved corpses thousands of years old. In ancient Egypt, that's just the dead king you buried last week. It's not really the same. There's also the creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know. Maybe they could have sea monsters in the Nile that spit fish at people. It could happen. Hey, you know what else is a good band name? Black Lagoon Fish Spitter. They're also boulders that move of their own volition. Oh, and they also have modern Arabs in turbans that chuck grenades. Hold on. Yes, it definitely says Ancient Egypt. I get the feeling Konami isn't very good at ancient history. That's a lot of sphinxes. Along the way, you can collect power-ups so that instead of whacking stuff with your instrument, you shoot out deadly notes. This game is so 80s.
Squibbly flabbly doo!
As John and Rick wander around, eventually they find a bright blue bubble. After smashing it open, they find Sheena trapped inside. Well, that was easy. Wrap it up, guys, the game's over. Oh, I guess they're still stuck in ancient Egypt, so they have to find their way home. Okay, that works. I have to admit that's pretty new, rescuing the girl right at the beginning. So then we continue... Oh, there's another blue bubble, and... Wait, huh? We already rescued her. How many Sheenas are there? So their journey takes them inside a pyramid, which is guarded by more sphinxes that shoot lasers at you. Inside, they find multiple Anubises. What the tut is the plural for Anubis? They also meet Cleopatra, who gives them force fields. Okay, Konami, that's pretty awesome. No, really, if you're gonna rewrite history, at least do it indiscriminately. So why not? Ancient Egypt saw the invention of things way ahead of its time, like beer and primitive batteries, so I guess it's not that big of a stretch to imagine they invented laser guns and force field projectors, right? Maybe we just never unearthed any because they trade all of them to the aliens in exchange for the pyramids. The boss is the giant head of Tutankhamun with snakes coming out of his eyes, so there's that. I love the digitized voice in this. Yeah, it's no someone shot the food, but when I think of rock singers, this isn't quite the voice I imagine.
Now you've got the beat. John, your gig is almost up.
So yeah, despite the fact that they rescued like 6 Sheenas already, the big monster hand opens another portal just to stick his fist through and show them that he still has her. So John and Rick naturally jump inside because it's that or stay in ancient Egypt. And yeah! Don't do that! Okay, Great Britain in the Middle Ages. That sounds cool. If what we've seen so far is any indication, we should expect medieval knights, a modern Prince Charles running around shooting a minigun, and Count Dracula that spits bats at you. But no, it's none of those things. Not even the one that makes sense. Instead, John and Rick fight spiders and bees. Are you sure this isn't Australia? I'm pretty sure that's the only place on Earth where spiders and bees represent a constant life-threatening menace. There are also living trees. Look at that. That's awesome. That tree's my best friend. Bah! Oh, and side note, really great animation, guys. I never thought I'd have to say this, but these are the most hardcore trees I've ever seen in my life. They're impossible to kill, and those little leaves they blow at you can slice right through multiple people and just keep going. What are these leaves made of? Vibranium? Either way, these trees must have lungs to rival Superman, and that doesn't even make sense. Then we have, a Death Knight? I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, it's some kind of skeleton joester. When you venture inside, you find a legion of Nosferatus. Okay, I was joking when I said Dracula. Seriously, why do they keep tossing in classic horror movie monsters that don't even belong in that setting? What's next? An American werewolf in Paris, in China? These guys throw skulls at you. Do they carry around a collection of skulls under their cloak? Do they take out their own skulls and throw them at you, then instantly regrow them? I don't know. Luckily, you can still destroy them with your instruments or by shooting notes at them. Aerosmith was right.
Music is the weapon.
Rescuing King Arthur gets you yet another force field because apparently he's in cahoots with Cleopatra. The boss is a sorceress. I guess that explains the enchanted trees and stuff.
Oh, Sheena!
Yeah, stop doing that! Level 3 is France. Modern France? 18th century France? It really doesn't say. I'm going to assume 18th century France because everyone's wearing these revolutionary era blue coats and wigs. But for all I know, this is what Konami thinks modern day France is like because they think ancient Egypt has Al-Qaeda. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, I don't know how else to explain this. Things get really bizarre when they introduce the constantly opening and resealing pits in the floor that perpetually spawn men playing violins. Is this representative of modern rock music taking the place of traditional classic music? Somehow I don't think they put that much thought into it. I'd ask Owen Citizen to explain, but I think I've filled the cameo quotient for this month already.
Hey Tom, how's it going?
Bennett, what did I just say? Get out of here! Barrels roll downstairs as you approach. Either they're living barrels, or a poltergeist did it, or someone pushed them, then ran away so quickly that I didn't see them go, or someone with telekinesis I need to stop. Okay, the boss of the level is, as you'd expect, some kind of burlesque dancer that throws feathered fans at you. Oh, and before you fight her, Napoleon gives you a force field. Okay, so let me revise my previous theory. It wasn't ancient Egypt with all this miracle technology. It was various prominent historical figures. Or, I don't know, the big monster dude that kidnapped Sheena is just leaving force fields behind, and Napoleon's the guy in charge, so he ends up with it? I don't normally make a point of giving advice to people who are trying to murder my friends, but you shouldn't do that, big scary monster man. But getting back to the Enchantress, why on planet Stupid does she have a robot voice?
Silly boy.
And she slowly mutates into some kind of lizard or dragon or something. Gah! The next level is Ancient Rome. Okay. Up until now, time has been progressively moving forward. And now we're all the way back in Rome? Well, when in hold on, no, I need a way better joke than this. So anyway, you walk around and fight trolls, I think. Where are all the Roman soldiers? In what way is this representative of Rome? At least Egypt had the pyramids and sphinxes and the Nile, I guess. France had the cannons and the French military uniforms. Great Britain had trees? Well, there's nothing here that's in any way reminiscent of Rome. Look, they have guys in full plate armor. Why weren't those guys in medieval England? This technology didn't exist in ancient Rome. Though that's still not nearly as egregious as grenades in ancient Egypt. Yes, I am still harping on that. There are also skeletons that shoot bones at you, and, well, No, there's nothing I can really say to comment on that. I'm just gonna let that go. The only things that you can really consider Roman are these discus-throwing statues, which... No, really, that's more Greek. Oh, and there's also Venus.
Oh, Venus.
Which is also kind of stolen from the Greeks. She gives you a force field. I'm not sure, but I think I see a pattern here. The most bizarre thing, though, is that they decide to use Twist and Shout for the theme to ancient Rome. I have no earthly idea. I know there's been a slew of other popular music inserted in the game, but it's usually sort of worked. Seriously, who thinks of the Beatles when they think of ancient Rome? Or for that matter, who thinks of Rock Me Amadeus? Not making that up, folks. The boss is a Minotaur, which, again, is Greek. Seriously, if they got rid of the knights and called Venus Aphrodite, they could have called this ancient Greece, and it would all fit perfectly. Gah! I'm getting just a little bit tired of that. Luckily, this is the last level, which takes place in USA, and I assume it's modern USA. Well, more logically, it should be future USA, because O.J. Simpson has learned to clone himself. The streets are teeming with cyberpunk mohawk guys that shoot photon torpedoes, and billboards actually try to murder you. Considering how aggressive advertising has been getting over the years, this is actually not so far-fetched if you just give us a few years. It also appears that in the future, fire hydrants will no longer have to be operated manually, and will just fire short controlled bursts every couple of seconds in case a fire spontaneously started just that instant. Oh, and the small splashes of water are lethal to anyone who would walk in front of it. John and Rick continue on into what looks to be the most gigantic 1950s diner ever built, but without any actual tables, decorations, staff, or really anything other than more enraged O.J. Simpsons. Now, what famous historical figure would you expect to find in America? A boxer? Who's this? Dolph Lundgren? Glass Joe? Steve Rogers? A cross between Tom Wilson and Jake Busey? Well, I guess I better... What? He just punched me to death! Aren't I supposed to rescue him, or just talk to him to get a force field, or however it works? I can't kill him either, so what's the point? Maybe it's a glitch. I'll leave and come back. Okay, now he's Neil Armstrong. What was with that boxer? Was this some kind of inside joke? Fine. I can do my own inside jokes. Isn't that right, Mr. Buster Magoo Cluster?
Stroke limit.
Whatever, let's just kill the blue rock and roll monster.
Hey, wait a minute. I thought you said you couldn't do any more cameos.
Yeah, but that was just... Okay, you're right. What did you want to say?
Oh, I kind of feel a little on the spot here.
That's what I thought. Get out of here! Let's just kill the blue rock and roll monster with the guitar, free Sheena, and go back home. Wait, don't we need the monster to be alive so it can open the portal home? And how come he's so small now? His arm was gigantic before. This is kinda unsettling. Something here isn't adding up. This isn't the same monster. Where's the real monster? No? You're not gonna question it? You're just gonna go back on stage and finish the concert? Well, okay, you guys have fun. I'm just gonna go over here and, yeah, just listen to some Barry Manilow. I don't know, play some DS. I don't have a DS, but I can probably borrow one. I've been thinking about maybe I should get a DS, because I haven't had a handheld system since Game Boy Advance, so it's probably a good sort of thing to get. And the type I had wasn't even backlit. It was just like the old school one, when it first came out. I liked it because it was indigo and it was less angular than the really square one. But yeah, good show, guys.
You are my lucky girl.